We've lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on our giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're drive-in theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
What's up, everybody? It's March. That lousy Smarch weather. You got it. You've got the Smarch. It is March 2nd, 2020. You're tuned into the Drive-In Speakerbox, your home, your source, your inspiration for all things movies, films, and our opinions, I guess, on life. Yeah. So, yeah, as always, I'm the boom operator.
The grip.
And, yeah, we're here. We've got some movies to talk to you about. It's March, February moved so fast. It got right out from under us.
Even though it was a day longer.
I know. Leap Day. Leap Day was big. It was huge. It was a beautiful day. Everybody was going outside, doing outside things, and it was super pleasant. So congratulations, universe. You had an extra day that didn't exist, so you could do whatever you wanted, or whatever. I don't know what people were doing. I was working. But yeah, we went and saw some movies. Mm-hmm. Not a whole lot of options out there this weekend that we hadn't already seen. So I literally coin flipped in the theater. So later in the program, I'm going to be talking about Impractical Jokers.
And I will be talking about the Telugu movie Bheeshma.
That is here in Northwest Arkansas. If you're in our live local late breaking listening area here in we're based in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's playing, I think, in just one, maybe two theaters, because we get a lot of.
We may have. I think it was only there. It might have only been there for the one week.
Night?
Yeah. Because I was like, what? And I rushed to see it. So.
I know, you were texting me, you're like, you want to sit through a 4.5 hour romance story? And I was
It was only 2.5 hours, very short for an Indian movie. And it had a intermission that was factored into that time.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Nice.
And there's no trailers. That's one of the great things about these movies is that you
jump right in.
Start time is start time, and the run time is the run time. There's an intermission factored in, so you can go pee or re-up on some popcorn.
Start time is the start time. Something that needs to happen here on a speaker box sometimes.
Uh-oh. Called out
Oof.
on live.
Oh, but
No, but instead of sitting through like 2,700 minutes of trailers at the normal theater, you just go and starts right away.
And it goes. So we're going to be talking about those movies later in the program, so stick around for that. But as we always do, for those of you that are listening to the audio version of the podcast, we have a very somewhat rigid format here. We're going to be talking about stuff that's happening in the news, and then we're going to tell you what's coming out in theaters, and then we're going to review a film, and then we're going to tell you the box office roundup. But we have some solemn news to report this week if you haven't already seen it on your favorite social media platforms. We lost one of the great, maybe not so well known on the big screen or on the stage for most of his famous life, but known as a resident authority and behind the scenes just personality amongst actors all over the world, and that was James Lipton. James Lipton, of course, the creative mind and host behind Inside the Actors Studio, and which ran for 22 seasons. I mean, he was on that show for like 25 years, I think, and retired. Oh gosh, I want to say 2018. I mean, the dude was 93.
Was it that recent? I thought it was a ways back because they redid the format and they have it as like actors on actors.
Well, they've gotten kind of like, I think, Coast to Coast AM. They had some other people coming in, where Art Bell was like, only so often. But he, in September of 2018, he officially declared he was stepping down for after 24 years. And why he's so important is, his show Inside the Actors Studio was one of these really bizarre things that just was an idea that no one thought was going to take off, that became a sensation amongst people in the industry. It was syndicated in over 125 countries, I believe, and watched all over the world. But it really gave you a glimpse into the world of what actors, the skill behind it, what they are, when the celebrity is kind of stripped away. And it was a really, really interesting look at the reality of acting. And, some people, and all the different methods and all the different styles. And it was just I don't know how long they lasted with this format, but a lot of the questions were from theater students. It's like asking these professionals in the field about their techniques, about their experiences, and how to candidly sort of share that with the world. And he did it all 93, dude, and he just did it all the way up until almost curtain call, or I guess it'd be the opposite of that, like closed curtains. Well, that's curtains for you, Lipton. But it seems fitting. But anyway, pouring one out, James Lipton, who I always thought looked a little bit like Anton LaVey. Google it, I guess, and it'll be funny later. He was the founder of the Church of Satan. They just have a kind of a similar visage. It is what it is. But pouring one out for our boy James Lipton. Here's to you for making a difference in showbiz. But let's see what else is in the news. Most things not making much of a difference, just repeating history over and over and over. What is worth even mentioning? I remember. I don't know if you heard about this. Paranormal Activity jumping back into the saddle. Paranormal Activity 7 bringing back writer Christopher Landon. News that maybe 6 people really care about. But how?
But with their expanded horror universe of all the things that don't matter, and is it really? Does it matter?
It's this cheaply produced formula that's going to get a return on the investment, that people are going to go see it and go, oh, I guess I kind of was spooked for like a second, and made its money, and that's it.
Where was 4, 5, and 6? Are they counting some of the spinoffs as those?
I think they are. I think this is just the 7th in the who cares, honestly, because it.
Are they counting that Wayans brother movie that made fun of it as one of theirs?
Please. I wish. That was a good movie for a Wayans Brothers film, and that's not setting the bar very high at all. But it's better than Paranormal Activity.
It had a scene that I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about.
Was it the ghost blowjob scene? I thought that was Scary Movie.
No,
it was the ghost fart. Was that in that one? I can't. Was it
listen,
called Ghost House? Was that the name of it?
I didn't write this movie. They had a Mandingo scene, Yeah. They talked about it a lot.
But they could do that. They wrote the movie.
I didn't. I'm just saying it was in there. Very weird movie.
Just reporting on news. That's
but you're like,
doing.
Oh, Fast and Furious ain't good, but that is. Okay, we'll remember.
Well, in other unnecessary sequel spinoff news, we're going to get another Adonis Creed movie. Which, oddly enough, I'm wearing my Rocky shirt, and I had no idea I was going to be talking about this movie. But because
and I have a rock. And
look at our shirts.
How about that? Yeah.
Look, let's just look at that.
Yeah, Rocky Balboa, Rocky Maivia.
But the first Creed movie I thought was pretty good. But why we need a third movie about a son of a supporting character in a franchise?
Oh, hey, whoa!
He was a supporting character.
Whoa! Did you watch Rocky 3?
Yeah, and he wasn't in all the Rockies. That's how a supporting character is created.
He was in 1 through 4.
As a supporting character, because 4 he was already dead, right? It was just ghost flashback, right?
No, 4 is where he gets murked by Drago.
Oh, that's right. I always get 3 and 4 flipped.
What? 3 is the one with Clubber Lang.
That's why it gets flipped.
And Rocky has to learn how to fight in L.A. in the style of Apollo Creed so that he can take on Clubber Lang.
So yeah, again, my point stands. We're watching a third in a franchise of a movie about a character that died in a series of another movie. This is like turning Fast and Furious. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, Han's back now, new spinoff movie of Han.
Like the first Creed movie was good.
It was
the
great.
second one didn't have that same.
No, it was just more. It was just treading water. I felt like it was just hitting the ball. The roll credits, and I don't know. But it's Zach Balan is set to script a screenplay for this, and Michael B. Jordan, of course, gonna return because money, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And again, as always, in unnecessarily stupid sequel and reboot and franchise news, people have been talking about this ever since the Crystal Skull was such a horrible stain on humanity. But everyone's like, well, I guess that one's so bad, let's make another one.
But it was so bad.
It was so bad. And it's like, well, we better get Harrison Ford while he's still in his prime at age 80 or whatever he is now, only able to be in movies where he's a CGI character or a Force ghost or next to a CGI dog or just not really even wanting to be there. But I'm sure he's got medical bills to pay these days, and everybody needs that cash money.
What's the last movie that Harrison Ford was in where it's like he did want to be there? Last Crusade?
I don't think he wanted to be there either. It's been a minute. He is Hollywood's favorite curmudgeon, more so than Bill Murray, because I think a lot of that's just an act. But Harrison Ford truly doesn't want to be around anybody.
His interviews are always just,
what do you want? All right, let's get out of here. Anyway, so according to Variety, Steven Spielberg, who was originally set to return and direct not this like Lucas Spielberg hybrid or whatever the Crystal Skull was, he was like, I'm doing it myself, but now he's walking away from the fifth Indy and turning the reins over to James Mangold, who gave us Ford versus Ferrari, and this is going to be Ford versus joints and back pain and Ford versus Nazis again. I'm sure.
When is this movie going to be set? The last one was in like the 50s or whatever, so this one's going to be in the 60s. Harrison Ford can be watching Ford versus Ferrari on TV.
Yeah, it could be a Fordiverse.
Yeah.
But I don't want this. I don't want this in my life. I don't need this in my life. Why are we stomping on things I feel like I'm kicking a dead horse by saying this, but why? We all know why. Money. We all understand why this is happening. But if we never saw, if we all just collectively waited till it was on streaming media and said we'll wait to see it when it's already like done terribly at the box office, then we'll stop it. But we have to do it. We can't do what we did for Lion King and go, yeah, we know it's bad, but we got to see it for ourselves. And then it goes, well, it made $1 trillion, $1 billion, so I guess we got to keep making them because people love it, despite every bit of words on the internet. Dollar signs are dollar signs, and that's how things happen, you guys. If we keep eating turds and paying money for these turds, but going, God, why did we eat this turd? They're going to go, oh, you must have liked it because money. And you'll keep getting served turds. Stop eating turds. Can we just all stop eating turds? Like, I think that's what we need to do.
Yeah, you also say that like we're probably not going to be sitting in the theater for Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but we're professionals.
That's
we
true.
Do
we
this. Have to. You think I wanted to go sit in the theater and watch Impractical Jokers the movie because I just couldn't wait to get into the theater and watch? No, that's a movie that I'll kind of passively watch while I'm at the gym once a year, trying to feel better about myself. And I go, oh, hey, I like those guys. They're funny for 20 minutes. And but sitting in a theater and paying $10 to watch the shtick, well, we'll get to that review later. But needless to say, all those things. All right. What else in the news? Not a whole lot of amazing things to report.
Well, you're finding something. Vince asked if we've seen the trailer for Bloodshot, that Vin Diesel-led comic book movie.
Boy, have we.
And going back to Sonic and how the internet had a voice in changing that, a lot of people complained that the Bloodshot trailer didn't show him in his like black and white with the red, whole color scheme thing. And a lot of the new trailers, it looks like they've revised that a little bit. And gave him some more of that color scheme superhero.
It's gonna be
look.
Man. We're giving the internet power, and
Worked for Sonic.
it did. But you know, with great power comes great responsibility. Not to go all comic booky on it, but once we get into the habit of thinking that we can, the more we just go, and then the world responds accordingly, then the more we're going to start hearing from everything. And
it's already there, though.
And then everything is just going to be reactionary adjustments to it's just not a good path. It's just not a good path. But we started down that path. That's how we got the stupid Sonic anyway. And now they're having to course correct, and it's just humans. If we could all go out and vote the same way that we go out and bitch about Sonic's face, then that's the moral of tonight's episode. Is
because tomorrow's Super Tuesday. How about that?
That's right. So the amount of work that you put on your last online crusade, go ahead and just get in your car and go to your very probably conveniently located polling place, because they make them that way, and hoping that something happens, and then when it doesn't, doing that same noise louder. Mask, the 80s, I think it was Deke, who I met
on the show.
He's on our Instagram page. Really cool dude. But Mask, of course, the 80s cartoon show about dudes that had vehicles, and then they'd put on masks, and then their vehicles would change into other vehicles, and then they'd fight crime in said vehicles. So pretty cool. I mean, it took every young boy's dream of in the 80s, a car, the wings up, and you go, and it would fly. And then Mask was like, well, shit, why don't we just make it fly and then make a TV show about that crap? And they did. And the toys were really, really cool. So, yeah. Anyway, there's a movie coming out, and they have hired the Bad Boys for Life writer, Chris Bremner, who co-wrote Bad Boys for Life. He has been tapped to pen the script for this film, which is being directed by F. Gary Gray. So I don't know. Fingers crossed. Maybe if we're gonna Sonic the Hedgehog anything, these are the kind of movies to do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, beloved pop culture things. Maybe not so much Mask, because who's gonna be like, Mask? What?
Yeah, because there's a clamoring young new generation of fans that just haven't gotten a Mask show. I don't know. I mean, it's about as great of an idea as the reboot of Knight Rider when they used like a Viper?
Mustang.
No, it was Viper. Didn't they, when they tried to take the premise of Knight Rider, and then when the Dodge Viper was like, oh my gosh, a sports car, and then they were like, yeah, let's make a TV show about this sports car, Viper, and then it was essentially the exact same
I thought you meant
plot.
like the Knight Rider reboot they did here a couple years ago. And
that was even worse.
You know how Knight Rider is classically a Trans Am, and it's super cool because TAs. Well, what if we made it a Ford instead? And then everyone was like, I hate everything about this.
Yeah, because money, just like all the Transformers were GM vehicles for the longest time.
Even a self-driving Mustang will still wreck into a crowd and kill people.
Hey, we synced it. But anyway, that's a thing that's happening. Whatever. That's it. That's what happened in the news. Not a whole lot of other things that we need to go into. Yeah. All right. There you go. Let's talk about movies that are coming out this weekend. You want to?
Yeah.
Word, because there are some. Pixar, a lot of people, this is something I say a lot on the show, just for those of you that need some education, is that not all Pixar movies are Disney movies. Okay? Most of the Pixar movies that you know and love were before they got purchased by Disney. And for the longest time, only Buena Vista was being used as sort of a distribution, kind of like the Studio Ghibli films that came out with the very well done English dub-overs were not Disney movies. They were distributed by Buena Vista Home Entertainment. Anyway, Buena Vista Home Entertainment eventually bought Pixar, but it still functions as kind of its own studio, but now with evil Disney overlords. So that's why on Onward, which is coming out this weekend, you will see Disney and Pixar because they bought that brand, and the brand sort of exists separate from Disney Animation. So Frozen is not a Pixar film, for those of you in the back rows, because Disney Animation sucks and Pixar is starting to slip. But I don't know. We'll see about Onward. We've talked about this. It is the world of Weekend at Bernie's Craft. And it takes place, these two, Tom Holland and Chris Pratt.
Up-and-comers.
Up-and-comers. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who's been in a lot of stuff lately. And they're boys that use a arcane satanic magic to resurrect their dead father from beyond the underworld. And only this evil, dark, satanic ritual only goes so far and resurrects their father just up to his penis. And so this just two-legged penis monster is walking around this evil Dungeons and Dragons land of evil demons and manticores and warlocks and all of this stuff that you probably shouldn't take your kids to. You know how easy it is to spin this stuff out of control? This is what they did to the Golden Compass and Harry Potter once upon a time. Where are the people that are screaming about this as witchcraft?
Now that D&D is like fully acceptable across the board, back when everyone was like, oh, D&D's devil worship and people will kill each other if they play it.
Yeah.
Like that type of thing, because it's swords and sorcery and it's evil. Yeah.
When really it's just a bunch of
dweebs.
People that look similar to us rolling dice.
Don't throw me in there.
I just said look similar. I'm not going to go into the details of the first campaign that you and I played, and that you were, I believe, our DM. But we're not here to talk about that. Anyway, so yeah, Onward coming out in theaters this week. It'll probably have a lot of heart. It'll probably be a good story. Pixar is pretty good for that. So check it out if you're into devil worship, satanic things, disembodied penises on legs, single parent situations, manticores, all of those things will be in this movie. So check it out. Fun for the whole family. There you go. Also, fun for the whole family, if your family is full of alcoholic, depressed people, is Gavin O'Connor's new film, The Way Back. Can't quite figure out whether or not this is a very high-budget PureFlix movie. Or...
Right? That's because every time I see the trailer, I'm like, is it supposed to be, like, really religious, or is that, like, just the backdrop? Or
it's just Jesus is gonna come in. It's gonna be like what they haven't shown you in the trailer is Ben Affleck's just gonna be there, and he's just gonna just be ready to just end it all with a bottle of vodka. Because why? I mean, I've met my fair share of people with alcohol problems, and of all the amazing things in the world of alcohol that you can reach for to just drink right out of the bottle. Why do movies grab vodka? I get it because it's easy to make prop vodka because it's just water. But you never just see
whiskey sweet tea.
Yeah, whiskey sweet tea. But maybe
need some more Henny, more cognac, man.
We do.
Yeah,
we do. But you always see them just like taking a big old swig of the vodka, and it's like, no, because you can get cheap bourbon, cheap gin, cheap scotch, cheap. You can get cheap pretty much anything, and I don't know. Anyway, so he's sitting there and he's swigging on a 750 milliliter of clear vodka at the basketball court, just be like, and then Jesus Christ comes behind him, or just I don't know, like the janitor who is just real soft spoken and kind, and he puts his hand on his shoulder and he goes, Ben Affleck, it's okay. hand me that ball. And then, like, swishes it from half court. And he's just like, sometimes you just got to believe in yourself. And
Was it McConaughey?
yes, sometimes you just got to believe in them kids. And then I guess I don't know. Then a kid's gonna get the 3-point shot at the buzzer, and it's the Mighty Ducks. No one thought they were gonna be a team, but when this alcoholic guy who's ruined his marriage comes up and shows these boys the real meaning of sports ball, then Jesus Christ. And I don't know what's gonna happen in this movie, but I can't handle seeing this fucking trailer anymore because it's so boring. Pardon my language, but I'm done seeing the trailer for this movie. I've worked on movies like these. They're painstakingly boring. But yeah, I don't know. A former high school basketball phenom struggling with alcoholism is offered a coaching job at his alma mater. As the team starts to win, he may have a reason to confront his old demons, but will it be enough to set him on the road to redemption? I mean, there it is.
Yeah.
I think I just described it. Personal demons, alma mater. Glory Days is what they should have called this movie. But isn't there already a movie called Glory Days?
Oh,
Glory Days.
I was about to say they could have a sick theme song.
My glory day. Playing basketball, drunk glory days. Why would anybody trust me with their kids? Like, yeah, I don't. Anyway, that movie's coming out. What else? Not a whole lot. Everything else is looking real independent. But there is one that's coming out that's an indie film. Probably not going to get it anywhere nationwide or even expanded. But Sometimes, Always, Never. It's kind of a detective fantasy family drama about like a father reconnecting with a missing son, but does star Bill Nighy and Sam Riley, who I enjoy both of those actors very much. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get it around here, and if we do, I'm going to go check that one out. But that's what's coming out this weekend in theaters nationwide-ish, except for that last one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we going to go see Onward this weekend, I guess?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So
that'll be the one.
Expect a review of that next week. I still need to go see Invisible Man. I didn't get a chance to see that. I went and saw Impractical Jokers, the movie, and just ran out of time this week. What do we got in the comments here? Let's take a stroll through the comments here. If you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, wherever you get podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, wherever podcasts are bought and sold and downloaded for free, like ours. If you're
Bought for free.
Sometimes people, I don't know, don't buy ours for free. It's a scam. We don't get the money. But anyway, if you're just listening to the audio version, you can always join in live on Monday nights when we record this thing and tune in. We've got a chat screen here. We got people coming in from Facebook and YouTube Live. You can get in the action on Facebook or youtube.com/The Drive-In Speakerbox. But going in there, we've got Johnny saying that the way back sounds like it's unfunny Bad News Bears. I think it's just here's more Bad News Bears.
Like you said, Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, Mighty Ducks.
But Coach Gordon getting drunk behind the wheel, and they're like, well, your punishment is to teach these kids hockey because you know hockey. And he's like, oh,
yes, to be responsible for children. You drunk.
Because he was a lawyer and he couldn't get himself out of his D-Dub ticket.
Let's see. He also says, there's a funny Kids in the Hall sketch where Dave Foley is addicted to fruit he drinks. That is a hilarious sketch. P.S. The Kids in the Hall are hilarious in general. If you're not familiar with that comedian sketch comedy genius, you can check it out. As I was watching through Voyager, which I'm still doing, there was an episode with one of the members of Kids in the Hall that was absolutely hilarious because all those guys are amazing. Anyway,
Lorne Michaels, not as popular project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lorne Michaels, kind of hit one home run this Leap Day Saturday Night Live. There was a musical sketch about airline sushi that is making its way all over the internet. It is actually worth a watch if you think musicals are either great or stupid. It's fun for anybody who.
Is it another one of those like Diner Lobster? And what was the other one?
I don't remember.
Yeah. What's his name? John Mulaney. It's
Yes.
another John
He
Mulaney
hosted.
musical one.
Yeah, but this one's really good. For anybody that's ever traveled in an airport, it hit the nail on the proverbial head. So, yeah, that's what's coming out in theaters this weekend, opening March 6, 2020. You can check any of those movies out, or one that you haven't already seen yet. All right. There we go. So let's get on with the movie reviews. We're going to be reviewing Bheeshma and Impractical Jokers, the movie. I figure I need to give my lungs a rest here, and I'm going to let the grip drive and go for it.
Yeah, so we were fortunate enough to get the Telugu movie Bheeshma in one of our local theaters. So I, of course, took the opportunity to go watch that. Like many Indian cinema films, it is just a complete amalgamation of so many different genres that trying to explain it just gets so convoluted. But when you watch it, you get a little bit of everything, and it's very difficult to leave a movie like that dissatisfied. Bheeshma is the tale of a meme maker, which I think there's something there lost in translation for sure. And he is always trying to score chicks, right? Like he's trying to find a girl, but always kind of falls flat on his face because he's just the bottom of society because he spends his time on the internet making jokes. And that lands him in a lot of trouble, and his uncle, who's with the press, pulls some strings and gets him attached to the police chief and gets him out of some trouble he got himself into. And from there, he starts to kind of turn his life around. But at the same time, there are these two really big agriculture companies that are competing, and one of them is also called Bheeshma, which is all about organics and growing things naturally and being wholesome and good. And the other company is about using chemicals and evil methods and stealing from the farmers and just not good dudes.
Stupid Bheeshmas.
Yeah. So the guy meets a girl, and she happens to work for the Bheeshma company, and of course he's head over heels for her, and he wants to do everything. But they're from
two different worlds that can never meet, and
kind of.
That's what all of these movies
because
are.
It comes together that really his parents and the police chief have history because
of course.
When he was a baby and the girl was a baby, they had like a moment where they touched kind of a little bit.
What? I don't know. This is getting weird.
Two babies that were like, "Hey, baby," right? And he was like, "Ah," and then pulled a gun out, and they're like, "Oh no!"
Wait, a baby pulled a gun out?
No, the police chief guy
At the baby?
Yes.
What?
I know.
The baby touched another baby, and a police officer almost shot the baby because they're not supposed to touch.
And their family, yeah, because he's like, "You son touched my daughter, time to die."
That is
forever.
some seriously like Mercutio shit.
Oh, hey, Mercutio's my dog.
Yeah, but wasn't he like, "I'll strike you down for banging on this girl that you shouldn't be banging on"?
No, Mercutio was Romeo's homie who defended him and got murked by the dude you're talking about.
Them Capulets?
Yeah.
Okay, those are the bad ones. Anyway.
But so the police chief doesn't know that this is the same kid, and eventually that kind of comes out, and it's gun time again.
Whoa!
And
babies.
And to save him, they say that he's going to be the new CEO of the Bheeshma company. And like, why do you think his name's Bheeshma? And then through a series of luck and being the right guy for the right situation, he wins all these people over who are trying to make sure that he's not a success. So you get some like rom-com, you get some action. While they do the meme thing, a lot of it is kind of a commentary and look at the different genres of Indian cinema, like super cop.
What do you mean different genres? They're all genres.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but some of them are like heavy on one genre than the other. Like when Dabong 3 came out not long ago, and we did not get it because Star Wars took it away from me. The Dabong series is like a super cop series. Like it has everything, but primarily it's like the super cop thing, which is a popular kind of overall genre.
I think we need to have a mini spin-off podcast where it's just you talking about Hindi and Telugu, Bollywood. That's I think just you review just
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a white dude, and let me see if I can get more white dudes watching these movies.
Dude, man, they're so good, and Bheeshma did not disappoint. Everything that it tried to do, it was just everything was enjoyable. Even the romantic comedy elements, which a lot of the time are not always the best in my opinion, but there are some good ones like the ones with McConaughey in them, like Failure to Launch or A Fool's Gold or something. But you get action, you get humor. There's a lot of like corporate takeover drama stuff. Like I said, it's hard to explain, but everything in it was very enjoyable. Had good music numbers and dancing. Everything you want out of an Indian movie. It was great. I liked it.
Vince over on YouTube comments, and he says,
and I got to do the Downton Abbey stuff.
The side podcast will just, it'll be you talking about those movies, but then also doing Downton Abbey rewatches.
From the one episode I watched where that dude was trying to bang on that guy's wife, and then he walked in and was like, "What's going on in here?
How dare you?"
Yeah, and then they had the worst fight of all time.
Yeah, you just do that, and then Telugu and Bollywood films.
And he's like, "How come you're in here?" And he's like, "I was not invited." He's like, "Then take that as your invitation to leave."
What we need to do is we need to just have some, not because I'm gonna say a very unpopular opinion here. So buckle up, y'all. But we need to do something where we get old sort of public domain movies and just overdub them with our own dialogue, because this is the unpopular opinion. The guys that have been doing Mystery Science Theater and Riff Tracks aren't that funny, and they haven't been funny in a long time.
I've actually never liked MST3K.
So the original couple of seasons is fantastic, and the premise is solid. But dude, I've seen the guys live. I've watched all their stuff. I was a big supporter of Riff Tracks early on, and it's like, man, these guys do like one every 4 or 5 months, and they're sitting there in an office getting paid thousands and thousands of dollars to go. He'll bend over and we'll go, "Oh, booty cracks," and like that. Oh God, just write it down. And that's the best you guys got by sitting in a team think tank with joke writing. Come on, guys. I've done this live in front of an audience and was a lot easier and funnier and better than. So we need to do.
Speaking of movies, you could probably do that with. Johnny says that Indian movies kind of sound like trauma movies.
I think I probably have some old DVDs up here that are all.
Not quite. Trauma movies are something else, man. There's some of those that you're like, what am I watching? And it makes you uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable.
That's trauma.
Yeah.
It's the trauma way.
But Toxic Avenger, hey, those are cool.
And Sergeant Kabuki Man.
Yeah. Cannibal, the musical, is a trauma movie.
Yeah.
But Bheeshma was a lot of fun. Good character journey. You get a lot of that classic Indian cinema of like, but here's what you didn't know from the scene that you thought you knew things from, and you're like, what revelation? And then you get, I don't know, just more fun. Everything's always amped and pumped, and it just keeps going, and it's a good movie, man.
Right.
I liked it.
Well, all right. Well, Bheeshma, right there. You can check it out in probably no theater near you. Unless you live
but if you can, if it's still
it
there, I think we got a short run on it, unfortunately. But if you have the opportunity to watch it,
support some movies.
Yeah.
Support movies that you don't get to see all the time. And which brings me to the movie I watched this week. And why I kind of chose this over Invisible Man is the Impractical Jokers movie, which is only playing in about 1,500 theaters nationwide. It's not getting a humongous release. Again, it's from True TV, which is not normally known for their movies. But I was like, hey, man, I'll go see it. Why not? Why not? I think these guys are pretty funny. I've caught a handful of their episodes. I'm not like a long-time listener, first-time caller or anything. I've watched them very casual. I was not lying when I said it's one of those things at the gym that kind of pass, and I'll go, I'll adjust my headphones to that if it's there. But I went and saw this movie. This movie, of course, is about this group of guys, the Tenderloins. They formed a comedy troupe a long time ago. They're lifelong friends, but then spawned the show of the same name, Impractical Jokers, in December of 2011. It's run for about 8 seasons. It's basically what kept True TV as a network. I don't think there's anything on True TV except for a few true crime things, and then Impractical Jokers, which the contrast in that still baffles me.
A lot of reality shows.
But it's really mostly Impractical Jokers and reruns of Impractical Jokers. The show has a wildly enormous fan base and success, and it does not seem to be slowing down at all, even after over 200 episodes of this show. So this film is kind of falling in line of other movies like it, like the Jackass tried to do Bad Grandpa. What was it, Adventure Park, or the one about the theme park where they do the pranks?
But that one was like a fully scripted movie,
and this was as well. And with real pranks thrown into the mix. Just like the new movie that's coming out, where what's his name? He always Eric Andre, just getting naked and showing his penis in public places, and and that's comedy now. Like, I know people that get arrested for that, but I guess if we put it on the movie screen, then it's funny comedy, exposing his penis to everyone.
So he's going to cause a lot of Me Too things when his comedy partner on the Eric Andre show was the Bill Cosby bringer to lighter whistleblower type man.
We'll see. I don't know how Eric Andre gets away with it, but anyway, he's got a show very similar to this as well. But anyway, Impractical Jokers takes place with if you have never seen this show, this movie is going to be a little bit jarring at first because there's almost zero plot, but also no character development. It kind of assumes that you already know.
I'm shocked.
Joe, Murr, Q, and Sal. It just assumes you know all these guys, and you've seen some of the seasons because they reference back to things from previous seasons. And if you don't really know their friendship, it's like being left out of an inside joke, which can get pretty jarring. But fortunately for me, I've seen a few episodes, enough to kind of fill in the gaps as the movie went along. And it's a movie about, they tell how they met and came up with, or not how they met, but how they came up with the idea of the Impractical Jokers, which I'm pretty sure was an embellished story, where they tried to break into a Paula Abdul concert with fake security badges and jackets, and made their way up on stage, but ended up just totally destroying the entire concert. And as they were leaving, Paula Abdul was like, "One day I'm gonna ruin your life." And then they see Paula Abdul 20 some odd years later in a cafe, and they're freaking out because they're like, "Oh no, Paula Abdul's gonna get us, and she's made us." And they're like, "Oh, you guys are Impractical Jokers. I love your show. I'm throwing a party in Miami. Here's some passes. Yada yada yada."
Fall for it.
And anyway, so she leaves him 3 passes, and much like everything in Impractical Jokers, there's like, well, only 3 gets to do it, but there's 4 of us. Now we have to road trip and compete in pranks against each other to figure out who the loser is and doesn't get to go to the Paula Abdul party. That is the entire plot of the movie. And as they're road tripping, it's just a very larger budget version of the show, which normally takes place in like shopping malls and, strip malls and parking lots and public parks. But this is like you're on the National Mall in DC, and boardwalks and like very famous places, and fun kind of Route 66 style road stop attractions.
So the exact same kind of format that the Between Two Ferns movie took,
a little bit.
Or it's like, what if we took this
on the road? And it's a worn out 90s plot that Bad Grandpa did the same thing, where they're like, let's go take this kid to a thing and let's travel, and an excuse to go to various locations and do pranks. The problem I have with this movie is some of the pranks are great. I laughed out loud several times in this this movie just because it's funny. The guys have great chemistry together. They're funny to watch. I think that's a part of the success of the show. There's a lot of cameos. There's a weird Will Ferrell cameo where he's just in the background eating dinner. I
like the Between Two Ferns.
A little bit. And if you could blink and miss it, but just watching these guys is fun. And there is a reason that their show is popular. It's because you see that camaraderie with all their friends. I think it was lended itself to the success of Jackass, where a part of the charm of the show is watching these lifelong friends just goof around with each other, and it feels so very genuine, and you get kind of brought into that group, and it's comforting in a way. But there are some situations that you can clearly tell, and maybe that's just because my experience and history in working in reality television and knowing how these things kind of work and seeing behind the curtain, you can kind of see when something's real and when something's bullshit. And there was a handful of bullshitty places where I'm like, there is no way that that everybody involved wasn't in on it. You know what I mean? Just from a legal standpoint, just from a appearance release standpoint, just from a,
right.
all of these.
Oh, was their face in there? Yeah, they
signed an appearance release.
Yeah.
At some point, and it's one of those things that when you kind of know how all that works, it does dispel that fun a little bit. And some of them that just didn't fit in the movie. It would have been just left for an episode. Of the show, and that's where the movie started to get really, really weak, is when it just started to feel like an episode of the show, where they can't really find any ways to tie a narrative in to all of these little pranks, and which I think that just stop trying to do that, kind of like what made the original Jackass movies so good. It's like, hey, look, we don't need a story, we don't need any pre-existing narrative. Let's just give them a bigger budget and see what happens. And it worked for Jackass. They had a show. You could watch it every week. But then they're like, you know what? Let's give them a couple $1 million and see what they do. And then it got hilarious and crazy, and the stakes went higher. And that's what I think they need to do, because this formula could work because these guys are really funny. And the pranks could get really, really elaborate, but I feel like it gets so weighed down trying to figure out a way to tie it all into a cohesive storyline that, these guys aren't, some of them are not bad actors, but at the same time, it's just like, you're acting because you're so familiar with them on the show. So yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird. You've got a thought there. What are you sitting on?
I'm thinking like maybe it's time that they bring back the Jamie Kennedy experience, because that's all that really is Jamie Kennedy experience with 4 people instead of 1.
Yeah. Okay, a question from the YouTubes. Vince asks, I heard if you are in a crowd like Mardi Gras, you don't need releases from everyone. True? False. That is actually false. You do need to get appearance releases, but usually how people get away with them is you can...
in the foreground.
If their face is not clearly visible or featured in any fashion, you can get away with it. But also, the trick that a lot of production companies pull is posting somewhere very, very largely and prominently.
If you choose to come in here, you are agreeing to appear on camera.
Yes, yeah. They perimeter an area, and they have bulletins posted up that says, filming in progress. By, like the grip just said, crossing this threshold, you verbally agree to be featured in yada 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 yada. So that actually, one of my crew shirts that I used to have on a production that I worked on, the back of the shirt was an appearance release. It's like, if you're reading the shirt, then
you're on camera.
There's a camera crew, so either dodge us or be okay with maybe being on camera. As a brilliant crew shirt, by the way.
No, that's a great idea.
It is, because you're just a walking appearance release. But with that said, going back to the things that kind of bothered me about some of these pranks is, where is the point at, and I think Jackass hit it, and that's why I feel they led towards the bad grandpa path, is when your celebrity outweighs your ability to pull these pranks off.
I've watched interviews with Johnny Knoxville talk about that, actually, where he said even in the makeup, so many people were used to seeing him in makeup and things like looking for him, that he was recognized far too often and things like that. So,
and it slows production down.
A lot of some of the best things they had filmed would be ruined because someone
recognized it.
Yeah, or would shout it out or whatever and ruin it for someone that was falling for it or something like that. Yeah.
And that's where I find a little bit of the weakness of these guys. When you get to a certain level of fame, then the shtick wears off because there's so many people that are going to know what's happening.
So is that part of what you're saying is like you could tell the reality show where they were like, they had a good scene, something was going, somebody blew it, and then the producer's like, okay, everyone reset. Hey, you did good. Can you make yourself do that again, please? And they're like, oh, I'm not really an actor.
Possibly. I just felt like there were some scenes that there's no way that this got pulled off with someone not knowing what was up, you know? But anyway, let's see here. Coming from the comments section, Johnny Dalton says, his brother was in tears. He was laughing so hard at Brad Grandpa. I mean, it had some very funny parts, but not like the Jackass movies. Man, those movies were hilarious. So Impractical Jokers, that's kind of my final thoughts on it. There's not a whole lot to say, not a whole lot to break down because it really is just an extended episode of the show. With a larger budget, and it seems to be doing pretty well, so they might end up doing it again. We shall see. But if you're a fan of the show, you'll definitely love this movie. And if you're not a fan of the show, if you don't have anything about it, then I don't know. I'd almost pass on it, or catch yourself up on at least a handful of episodes before you walk into the theater on this one. So there you go. Impractical Jokers, the movie, in theaters, not nationwide, but expanded release. So you can check it out if you want to. All right, there you go. That's what we're reviewing tonight. Those are our movie reviews. Boom. You ready to do some box office?
Yeah.
Box office reporting.
Who made some money?
We about to find out, you guys. So something that we do. Every week on the show, for those of you that are new listeners, is we give you the box office weekend roundup for the previous weekend. Since the show is recorded on Mondays, it's fresh off the presses. And we give you domestic numbers only because that's how studios measure success. They don't care about that foreign money. It's got coronavirus all over it. They don't care. I just, closing up borders. We don't want that money.
Isn't there like 20 U.S. states that have that coronavirus on them too now?
It's
looking at you, Texas.
Yeah. I feel really bad because one of my employees is studying abroad in Italy right now, and she's only been over there for almost a month and loving it, having the time of her life, but now she has to return. Like the university that she's studying with is like, sorry, we're canceling all these programs. They're cracking down on it, and it sucks.
Italy's one of the countries that has a lot of the cases outside of China.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. So that's a spicy Corona. Can we say that? I don't know. Hello, Gentry from Facebook. That was my Mario voice. It's a me, Corona. Can you? Can you say that? I don't. I mean, it's just Nintendo.
Hey, free speech.
Yeah. Don't forget to get vaccinated. Where's my star of invincibility? I don't know how we could just keep going with this.
Or not.
Come on. Where's your sense of adventure and humor?
Do the Bob Hoskins Mario instead, since we're talking about movies.
I don't even remember Bob Hoskins Mario.
He had like a real Brooklyn accent.
Hey, get your germs off me.
yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
Sneeze over there, asshole.
Yeah.
Wash your hands, butthead.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's Biff Tannen.
I was about to say that was real Casey Jones. Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to give you the top 10 movies in America, starting with number 10, working our way up to number 1. So here you go. Number 10, Fantasy Island, bringing in $2.3 million in its third weekend release for Sony, only bringing in a total of $24 million. Not so great there on Fantasy Island. Number 9, Brahms, The Boy 2. Also not so great. They need to start pumping the brakes on some of these cheese butt horror movies because we're getting a little too many of them at once for people to waste their money on it. But it brought in $2.6 million to the box office in its second release. A very wimpy $9.7 million at the box office for STX Entertainment, and already at number 9. Don't think we're going to see any more boy movies. Boo-hoo. Number 8, 19.
Who knew you saw any to begin with, you know?
I know. I didn't. At first, I was confused. I was like, what is this a sequel to? And then I was like, oh yeah, because that something we all needed. Number 8, 1917, bringing in $2.7 million this week from Universal in the number 10 week out that it's been. That's a lot of weeks for a movie, almost as long as Jumanji. But it's been out there. But it's brought in $155.9 million at the box office, doing very well for itself as well. Number 7, Impractical Jokers, the movie, which we just talked about, and it's technically second weekend release, but like I said, in less than 2,000 theaters nationwide, bringing in $3.5 million at the box office, bringing so far a domestic gross of $6.6 million. Number 6, Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, otherwise formerly known as Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous and Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, bringing in $4.1 million in its fourth weekend release for Warner Brothers, bringing its total domestic gross up to $78.7 million, a little bit less than I think Warner Brothers was hoping for, but hey.
A lot of bit less.
Them's the breaks, Warner Brothers. Number 5, Bad Boys for Life, hanging up there in the number 5 position this week with $4.3 million in its seventh weekend release, bringing in Sony a domestic gross of $197.5 million. Yeah, it is definitely more Bad Boys for Life coming at you. Number 4, oddly enough, performing very well in still only 1,100 theaters nationwide. My Hero Academia, Heroes Rising.
The weebs crawled out to go
show some
throw
support.
money at the movie theater.
Dang.
Who are these weebs that like actually paid money for their anime instead of
just
like,
pirating on the internet like they've done for generations?
Yeah, or just like too fat to get away from their Crunchyroll or whatever.
They're too fat, too furious to get away and pay money.
Who are you weebs out there doing this, man?
I don't know. Hey, man, I have a Crunchyroll subscription.
Yeah, well.
Says the guy wearing a rock shirt and an anime jacket.
I'm not saying anime. This is Bullet Club. It's more wrestling because
wrestling's cooler than anime.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Did you not see the AEW pay-per-view this weekend?
I don't know. Tell me more about why that's different than my Crunchyroll subscription. I mean, what happened in it?
One thing, there's no weebs, dude.
Okay,
like,
just dweebs. Yeah. Anyway, My Hero Academia bringing $5.7 million at the box office. Not too bad. And if you go for the extended weekend gross, over $9.1 million for Funimation. Look out. Number 3, Call of the Wild, coming in at number 3 with $13.3 million in its second weekend release for 20th Century Fox, bringing in $46 million at the box office. The number 2 in a movie in America, Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic. Just
who you get to see in that movie. You get to see Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog.
The Hedgehog. That was such a good man.
Yeah, no, that one was tight because when he was like, "Yo," I was like, "Yo, it's Sonic."
It's Sonic. Oh my gosh! You know, and that's why that movie worked, dudes. Check it out. $16.2 million. If you want to hear the review, you can go back 3 podcasts ago when we caught it in theaters. Third weekend release for Paramount Pictures, bringing in a total domestic gross of $128.5 million, overperforming what everybody thought it was going to. Doing very, very well for itself. We're going to get more of those guaranteed, and they probably will get increasingly less entertaining as they come out.
Until you have like little animals trapped in robots, and
you know it's not gonna. They're gonna get too excited about the money, and then they're gonna mess up, like they always do. But number 1 movie in America, doing far better than anyone expected, The Invisible Man from Universal Pictures, bringing in $28.2 million. I don't think it was any more impressive than what Universal was hoping for. I think they're still trying to figure out how to resurrect these classic Universal monsters. But in this one, they throw in a good, healthy dose of gaslighting, Me Too movement / stalker ex-boyfriendy true crime stuff. And finding a very firm audience here and making a lot of money.
Yeah, not exactly part of that dark universe that they were aiming for, huh?
The dark universe is our universe the whole time. There it is. Boom, boom, boom. The monsters are in you. They're in you. But anyway, that's what happened this week. And I guess that's our show, yeah? Word.
There it is.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Probably checking out Onward. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Email us, drivingspeakerbox@gmail.com if you want. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We are out there for you. Tell your friends. It's the only way that we have happiness in this world is when you do that. So, as always, I'm the Boom Operator.
I'm the Grip.
We'll see you next week.